So we found out that Yuji is immortal and he also may be a Kaliyan god. I mean, there's so much to talk about, especially considering the fact that, yes, Yuji is in his physical prime and he definitely is one of the strongest of this modern era, and I just really want to talk about this right here and now. An updated video on how strong I think Yuji is, how I think he's going to connect to the Sumerians considering he's part cursed spirit, and just how Yuji versus Dabura will go. Let's talk all that right here, right now. Be sure to leave a like on the video, it helps out so much. Thank you very much. And of course, subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. I promise you, if you love JJK, you will not regret subscribing. I make a ton of videos on it. Alright, let's just start off. So Yuji is confirmed immortal with chapter 13, which isn't really shocking. I mean, I did talk about that in a previous video of mine, actually a lot of videos ago, but you know, since chapter 2 had come out, I talked about this possibility that because, you know, he's a half human, half cursed spirit, he's part death painting, does that mean that Yuji can just live forever since the death paintings also don't age? And it seems like that is true, which is very tragic. It means Yuji was indeed cursed by his grandfather's final words. His grandfather told him, when you die, be surrounded by those people that you love, by your friends, by your family, but Yuji can't even live up to that because Yuji simply is going to live forever and he's going to watch all of his friends die. So that's why he told Nobara that he's not going to attend anybody else's funeral after Hana's funeral had happened, simply because he just didn't want to keep watching his friends die and watch them grow old, which is very tragic if you think about it. I mean, Yuji's whole point was that one line where he wanted to make a lot of friends and die surrounded by them, but Yuji just simply cannot die, and that's the reason he has gone into exile. It's not because of a fight of the higher-ups, it's not because he's done anything illegal, it might simply be just depression. It might actually be as simple as that, because he just doesn't want to watch his friends die. And this might be a reason why Yuji is gonna come back. Yuji went into exile because he didn't want to keep watching his friends die, but we don't actually know exactly when that video of Nobara was recorded, when Nobara said that. So for all we know, Yuji might be able to come back right now because all of his friends might be dead. There might simply just be no one left for Yuji to mourn or for him to be sad about after everyone's dead, and that might be a good way to come back into the story because he doesn't need to watch any of his friends die. Although a good argument against this is, but then Yuji wouldn't want to make any more friends or any more connections like that because then he'd have to watch these people die because he's gonna live forever, right? I think that's a part of Yuji's character arc that he needs to go through, that because he's immortal, he has to accept that role, as sad as it is, that he needs to be involved in the current society. Like, Jujutsu world needs him, and just because he's sad about seeing people die, it doesn't mean that he just can't be involved in it. Even there's beauty in saying goodbye to people and letting them go. Like, just because you're gonna outlive them doesn't mean you shouldn't be making any new connections, you know what I mean? So I think in that way, I think that's a potential character lesson or character arc, you know, growth that even Yuji in his 80s would have to go through, in terms of, yes, it's okay to make new friendships and new connections and bonds with people. Like, it's natural that they're gonna die and it's okay to say goodbye. Yes, it's gonna hurt, but that's okay, Yuji. Now, how strong is Itadori Yuji in his immortal state? I mean, the fact that he retained his prime is insane to me. So we did see when Yuji was walking in that one panel of him, and a couple times actually, he does seem taller than he was when he was a teenager. He has hit a growth spurt, so he did grow until a certain point, and we don't know what that age is. Maybe it's 18, 21, 25, but at some point, I'm guessing when he hit his physical peak, he just stopped growing, and he just stopped aging at that point. It's not like he just stopped at 15. He should look older than he did at 15, given the fact that he's much taller than he was at 15, so he clearly has grown, but it does make it better for us because that means Yuji would have entered his physical prime, like as physically strong as he could have gone, like, which is insane to think. I mean, the Yuji that we see in the beginning of the series, and just throughout all of JJK, not just the beginning, for all of JJK, is only a teenager. He's not close to his physical peak. So just imagining a physically primed Yuji and then him retaining that prime thereafter is insane, because if Yuji does train with blood manipulation and cleave and dismantle, shrine, domain expansion, reverse curse technique, soul attacks, black flash, Yuji is simply never gonna get weaker. He's only gonna get stronger with time, which is insane to think about. Genuine. Like, however strong you think he was at his prime, double it and give it to the next Yuji, because he's just getting stronger and his physical body isn't becoming weaker with time, which really just shows me that Yuji is going to truly be a monster, especially if you watch that video where I said Yuji is the strongest. I really think that video is going to be accurate given the fact that he's retained his physical peak throughout it all. He's got 2 top 5 techniques in the entire history of Jujutsu Kaisen, and given a sorcerer's potential is directly tied to their technique, and Yuji has 2 of the highest potential techniques, and he's had 68 years to train of it, and Yuji already is a prodigy. I know a lot of people disagree with that. Personally, I completely disagree with those people. I believe in every sense of the word, Yuji is an absolute prodigy in Jujutsu. Like, given everything we've seen, his explosive growth, not talking about the things that were given from Sukuna, I mean his own natural growth as a sorcerer and his natural instincts for fighting in Jujutsu, like how Todo trained him and how he fights. I think he's a prodigy amongst prodigies. Like, honestly, I think anyone anyone who says otherwise, I get the arguments why, but I strongly disagree with that. I mean, it was even said directly by Urumi that Yuji has the same potential as Sukuna, not even including his own blood manipulation, which is a stacked top 5 potential in the verse, on top of his already top 1 potential of Shrine. And I do think Yuji is going to be involved in the series. I think it has been foreshadowed way too much. Like with the old guy, he talked about Yuji back then it was talked about once again that we need to find Itadori Yuji, then it was mentioned in this chapter that we need Yuji, is the only one who can stop him, and then previously once again they were saying where is Itadori Yuji, and it was also mentioned in the beginning like, do you know anybody like Itadori Yuji who's still alive in the modern day? We only have 13 chapters, and out of those 13, 5 of them mention Yuji, like directly mention him, that they need to find him, and that's if I'm not missing a chapter. Half of this story has literally been foreshadowing Yuji's return, talking about him, and we got to see Yuji 3 different times in his current prime, just silhouetted. I mean, that to me means Yuji is guaranteed to come back. Like, it's just a fact. And what is Yuji's role going to be once he comes back in the story? I do believe Yuji is going to take on Dabura, and I know it's so obvious that it's going to happen, but I mean, who else is he going to fight? Who else would be strong enough to fight Yuji, and vice versa? Who else would be strong enough to fight Dabura right now? I mean, I know there's a lot of theories, mainly coming from me when I made that last video, that maybe it's going to be Rika and Yuka who take on Dabura, and also, as we talked about in my previous stream, it would be very interesting if Rika is stronger given the growth that Yuta may have had, and that might carry over to Yuka. And the only reason I say that is because there was that one grade 1 higher up girl where she was directly in the presence of Dabura, and she said if I ever had to fight him, I would either run or take my own life. She said it was stone cold face. That's how terrified she was of Dabura. Yet she says with Yuka, there's hope. She directly says there's hope, and we don't see the necklace around Yuka's neck, but there has been a 2-month time skip, and I think over these 2 months there might have been plans given around Yuka and the Yuta ring. I think Tsurugi is going to give it to her, and I think she's going to use that to fight Dabura. And if Dabura really is on Sukuna's level, even if we had Yuta during the end of the series, during Shinjuku Showdown, that would not be enough for someone on Sukuna's level. Like, he would just get one shot by a no-nerf Sukuna, like straight instantly killed, no questions asked. But that doesn't tell us how strong Prime Yuta was, because the Yuta that fought Sukuna was only a sorcerer for like what, a year and a half, and he was only 16 years old. And imagine how strong a Prime Yuta maybe in his 20s or 30s would have been, reaching the very peak of his potential, like probably close to Sukuna and Gojo's level, given Gojo's own words at the end of JJK. So if Yuka has access to a Rika who had gotten trained with Yuta and gotten stronger over those decades being with Yuta, I do think that could at least give her a chance to fight Dabura. But of course, we all know Yuji is going to be involved in some way, and I do think that Yuji being a half-cursed spirit is going to be important. Now, this is something I talked about in my previous video, and we also talked about in my stream yesterday, but Yuji is part cursed spirit because he is a death painting. So his actual physiology seems to be 25% death painting, but that's strong enough that he even has the immortality just like the other death paintings have, where he just doesn't age. And another thing about that is Yuji might be able to communicate with the Sumerians via their mind. So remember, cursed spirits can talk directly to these aliens, not including the Daskutans or other types of Sumerians, but specifically the Lumilians. They can for some reason talk to them directly in their mind. So I wonder how Yuji is going to interact with them once they see that Yuji isn't human but he's part cursed spirit. Like, would they worship Yuji? Would they think, oh my god, he's on our side? I wonder if they would even betray Dabura in terms of protecting Yuji. I really wonder where that's going to go, and I hope that plot point happens. It would be kind of disappointing if it doesn't and nothing is said about it and they just see Yuji as a normal human, because clearly Yuji is not a normal human. It was said directly in chapter 258 page 7 by Choso in the flashback. As Sukuna summoned his domain, Choso told everyone, and Yuji, as you can see on the screen, Yuji has the physiology of a death painting now. He doesn't have the biological makeup of a human, he's got one of a death painting, and that's why he can reattach his limbs the way he does. And Yuji can even convert his own cursed energy into blood, making reverse curse technique far cheaper, and also making his blood curse technique limitless in potential. He doesn't have the same drawbacks like Karma or a human would. But the reason I think that's important is because we can see even further beyond what Choso said as a fact and what we've seen of Yuji, as he reattached his leg when he was cut off by Sukuna's domain, and we've seen him convert his own blood into cursed energy. Like, we've seen all that happening. It's even gone further that his body just is immortal like a death painting. So I truly wonder how the Kalyans are going to treat Yuji, and my biggest theory is that Yuji might be the closest thing to a Kalyan, even more than a cursed spirit, because remember, the Kalyans back on their home planet, when their bodies were destroyed, they didn't turn into just dust like cursed spirits. Death paintings are the same and seem to be closer to the Kalyans than even the cursed spirits are, which which is gonna be absolutely wild when we get to see that happen. But hey, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, what you think is gonna happen with Yuji and how strong you think he's gonna be and what his interactions are gonna be with the Sumerians. Be sure to leave a like on the video, it helps out so much. Thank you very much, and of course, subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Like I said in the beginning, if you love JJK, I promise you will not regret subscribing. I make a ton of JJK Modulo content on this channel. That's all from me, thank you so much for watching and have a great day guys, take care.